So I get to thinking um, when I consider any type of media or sales or um, philosophy approach. Anyhow, I want to categorize things, and I want to. I go. I should have a niche in certain areas at least. Like if it comes to um, artistic, uh, marketing, sales or recognition of some artistic output. And I always get kind of frustrated and flustered by that and feel like that's very a limiting approach. And I usually pretty quickly go, fuck that. Or I maybe go, well, okay, a little bit. Or, just make, different online personalities. And this isn't just about videos or photography or, uh, like when I had the Dumb Idiot store, any type of clothing. It's just about like anything. Um, I sometimes I go, I should figure out a philosophy for how I navigate through life. I never can settle on anything, and I do have a lot of self awareness about things like this. I mean, about a lot of things, but I usually go, nope, that's just not me. It's not how it works. I'm much more chaotic than that. So anyhow, um, the reason I brought that up, I guess, was to address that. It just when it comes to like, I think I'm filming this for a autobiographical YouTube channel that might have, you know, short clips of me just muttering comical or comedic nonsense. Um, and I feel like I have to be okay with that. Kind of like I have to be okay with, like, you know, planning, but not being too stringent because I'm like, is I just don't follow plans. Plans don't work. Not really. Maybe a little bit, but for the most part, it's like, I have to be uh, pretty relaxed because everything changes. Anywho, so that's just a side note. I came into these woods. I don't know if you'd call it woods. It's trails, wooded areas, um, to write plans in a notepad concerning issues I'm having, but also to perhaps film autobiographical journals. I mean, what else is a journal? I have a thing with trying to be specific with my wording. And it's something that I think is good. A lot of other people probably find it pretty fucking annoying and gay. Probably kind of gay. I hung out with a girl named Terry, and we drank under a bridge uh, 2 3 months ago or something. I don't know. And she was talking about how she thought I was cool because she thought I didn't give a fuck what anybody thought. And she's like, and now I realize you do. It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, to an extent. And I explained to her, like, I care about being misrepresented. I want to be understood. I don't want to be misunderstood in anything I say or do. I want the point of what I was saying to be clear. I don't think there's much wrong with that. I don't think anybody really doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I mean, unless you're just shitting your pants and pissing your pants and you're like, I'll clean it up later. You know? I mean, that's to not give a fuck is like even Gigi Allen, dude who would shit in his hand and throw it at the crowd and go fight the crowd and like fucking bash his head on shit. And that dude gave a fuck. Like, because he, according to like close friends, he was quiet and reserved in his, life off stage. So it's like, why would you go on stage and do all that if you didn't give a fuck at all? Like, unless it's like for money, but then if it's for money, you give a fuck. You want money, you give a fuck about it. Everybody gives a fuck. That's such a stupid, just fucking infantile notion. You don't give a fuck about anything. So why haven't you killed yourself? Or just laid around, done nothing at all? Which is also kind of a problem being like a determinist, because I think I'm a determinist. I used to be pretty sure of that when I was younger, but even then I realized like I can't be, because if I was a real determinist, I wouldn't do anything. I would sit on a couch, just let everything happen, because I wouldn't make any attempts to affect my my reality, what happens in it, if I didn't believe in free will whatsoever. So it's like, in theory, it works, but like, you have a compulsion to try to manipulate your circumstances. And if you do that, you must, somewhere inside of your brain, believe that you can manipulate your circumstances. So you must believe in free will, I think. But I mean, mathematically, I do think it just doesn't make sense, free will. And I guess I feel the need to explain myself to be understood. The reason I feel that free will can't exist is because I believe that everything is a chain of events. Everything is a cause and effect. You do one thing, and so another thing happens. And then other things happen because that thing happened. And that starts, perhaps before birth or at birth. But let's say just for, to entertain the idea, it starts at birth. So you pop out your mom's pussy and you see a wall, and the wall's yellow. And you go, oh, the world is like, that's mostly the world. Is like the pussy you popped out of, the stuff all over you, voices, and perhaps you see shapes of, you see people, but they're shapes, and colors. The wall's a shape and a color. That's the world. And so you start forming an idea of the world, and you go, that's what it is. And you go, okay, well, if that's the world, right? And you notice your scream, and you go, oh, that's me. I'm that scream. Or maybe you don't, but you realize it's a huge part of reality. And that starts forming your reality. And so, let's say, life goes on, and you start forming how you conduct yourself based off of those colors, shapes, sounds, and that becomes like kind of how you are in your modes of action, you know. And so, like, as you get older, maybe you're 2, and you don't know why, but yellow makes you feel something tremendous, you know. And like, if some type of goop gets all over you, might make you all panicky, you know. I'm assuming even as an adult, when goop gets all over us, except for maybe porn stars, we get panicky. You know, we go, ah, fuck, what the fuck, ah, you know, because that was our first moments. Is what the fuck, you know. But I guess then again, we were all in the goop, so maybe it's a comforting thing too. But like, to have the goop wiped off, you feel like, oh, huh, this is it's interesting. Probably it's probably not a panicky feel anyway. But like, say you're 20 and you go to a job interview and you are very honest and you get the job. It's a good job and it lasts a while and things go well, and you go, okay, well, honesty really worked out for me there. And you start being more honest in life. You start going, you know, and maybe a few things keep working out for that. And you become, over time, a very honest person, much more honest than usual. And maybe instead of being honest at the job interview, you lied a lot. And that worked out well. And you got the job and everything went well. And you started lying more and that went really well. So you become a liar. And like, is that free will or is that just a consequence of, you know, fate? Because maybe you wouldn't have got the job no matter what you did. Maybe there was already somebody who got the job. And so if you went into the job and you lied, and you didn't get the job, you went, maybe I should try to be more honest in life. You know, I'm just saying, like, for the sake of the argument. I'm not, you know. But anyhow, those are some thoughts on some shit. Like right now, I'm in nature. I came into nature because I really wanted to figure out some stuff. I'm always conflicted, but today I was just like, there's a lot just that I am not figuring out. And there's a lot of just brick walls I'm hitting, and I need to fucking figure some shit out. So I came into nature because in the past, you know, when I was a kid, I went into nature all the fucking time. And I felt much less constricted, you know. Over time, I ended up being homeless a lot, building encampments in nature. I feel much better. Honestly, I'd kind of rather be homeless. A lot of the reason I used to say that I ever would have a home is for the sake of my daughter. And then when my daughter barely comes to my home because of, right now, like, my ankle monitor causes issues with scheduling, and I have a very small room and 3 roommates and yada, yada, yada. When I think about these things, and then I think often, I'm like, I really would like to just go find a nice spot in fucking nature and be homeless again. What's the fucking point? I don't need all these walls. I could build walls or put up a tent. You know, I could live in my truck. Anyhow, the storage on my phone is saying I need to stop the video. So anyway, that's why I came into nature, though. It's what I'm familiar with. It's what I've been taught to do by myself or reality. Who knows?